Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hagarage Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Claws season number 4, episode number 2, which is titled Vengeance. And yeah, this episode was another enjoyable episode. I think that this show for its final season is like going to do 2 episodes a week, which I enjoy. Like I like the idea of 2 episodes a week because I can it's kind of similar to binge watching a show. But then again, when it comes to reviewing and recapping it, yeah, that requires time. But anyway, I'm happy about it, but I also have certain issues with it. But anyway, episode number 2. So it picks up where the previous episode left off with Uncle Daddy and Desna getting ready to confront each other, and they do confront each other in front of their salon. And Uncle Daddy is like, you know what? I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do all of that stuff, and you better watch out. And Desna is like, you know what? You can't hurt me. You can't kill me because you need the license that I have. If I die, the license goes bye bye. And yeah, Uncle Daddy is like, you know what? I'm still going to come after you. I'm going to go in and I'm going to find the pills. And Desna's like, you won't find any pills in the salon. But he still goes in and he wrecks the place in order to find the pills. And as he's doing that, Desna turns to Anne and she is like, Anne, this is even low for you. But then again, I'm kind of interested in you basically working for someone like Uncle Daddy. I hope you enjoyed the experience. And Anne is like, you know what, you don't have to worry about me. I just want to see you destroyed and all of that stuff because you're a wife killer. Desna's like, I didn't kill your wife, and you're confused. You know that I didn't kill your wife. And yeah, they all again have harsh words. And Desna's like, you know what, I feel sorry for your upcoming baby because he's going to have a crazy mom. And Desna's like, well, at least he won't have someone like you who pretends to be a mom, and at least I have my own kid. And yeah, basically Anna's like, Desna, you pretend to be a mom and you're basically trying to be a mom to grown-up adults. And Desna's like, you know what, Anne, at least I let one of them go, huh? I actually like Desna's counterattack. That was good. So we got to next day, and yeah, the crew is cleaning up the salon, and Desna walks in, and Polly is like, okay, Desna, are you sure you want to that we want to continue doing this with Uncle Daddy? He's angry, he knows that we have the pills. And Desna's like, hey, don't worry, he's not going to do anything to us. And this is where Polly is like, what about Anne? Can we like bring her back in? And Desna's like, no, we're going to replace Quiet Anne. We're going to have some interviews, and because we need to replace her as a professional in the salon. And yeah, this is where Polly has to realize that, you know what, she wants Desna and Anne to be friends again, but that's just not going to work. And as far as the pill delivery thing is concerned, bill selling thing is concerned, it turns out that Desna has a plan. She's like, you know what, we're going to start selling these pills by putting them in these nail polish bottles, and I'm going to call that. Ooh, what was it? I forgot the name. Vengeance? Vengeance? Right? But yeah, I could be wrong. So yeah, they're like, you know what? We're going to sell these pills in nail polishes, and Uncle Daddy wouldn't even know. So are you guys in? They're like, yep, let's do this. So Bryce comes to the salon with the car, and he gets a call from his daughter. I think it's his daughter calling him for something that she lost. And yeah, Bryce opens up the trunk of the car, and this is where he notices the pills inside the car, and he's like, "Oh, Jen, what did you do? You really ended up stealing from Uncle Daddy, huh?" So he goes in to talk to Jen, and while that's happening, we find out that Virginia is the one who actually like took the pills away. So Jen goes to the car and she is like, "Okay, Bryce, what did you want me to see?" And Bryce is like, "You stole the pills from Uncle Daddy, didn't you?" And Jen is like, "What? What are you talking about, Bryce? There's nothing in the trunk." And yeah, Bryce is confused. He's like, "I swear I saw the pills in here." And Jen is like, "Well, I'm not appreciating this attitude of yours, and you're basically, yeah, accusing me of stealing pills. I don't like this, Bryce." And she walks away. So yeah, it turns out that Virginia did steal the pills from the truck, and she's like, you know what, Bryce won't be. Bryce didn't see nothing. And yeah, both Polly and Virginia are very happy about this new plan. They'll be able to make a lot of money, and they'll basically be the new drug lords, and they're here for it. So yeah, it turns out that Uncle Daddy isn't done with Desna. She gets a call, and Uncle Daddy ended up going to Desna's condo where Dean is living as well, and he ended up crashing the place. And Dean isn't happy about it. And Desna's like, you know what, Dean, I'll figure Uncle Daddy out. I'll handle him. And this is where she's like, you know what? The first thing we need to do is we need to figure out how to sell these pills fast in order to make money and so that we can pay rent. And I think the rent is due in like 10 or 15 days. And Jen is like, well, we can go over to another area and start selling there. And Desna's like, no, I'm not going to go and help that area be even more gentrified. We need to stay here. We need to sell pills here. And this is where Jen gets an idea to go to the PTA meeting because there's a whole lot of rich parents there who'll be very happy to take the pills off Desna's hands. And she's like, yeah, let's do that. So while that's happening, because Desna ended up stealing from Uncle Daddy, they have a shortage on pills, and the people who want the pills, they're going crazy, they're wrecking the office, and Uncle Daddy is like, Ken, you need to go out there and start and try to calm these people down. And he also tells Bryce to ask Jen about the pills and giving the pills back. And Bryce is like, yeah, that's easier said than done. So we have this hilarious scene where Ken goes out to try and calm the people down, but it doesn't work, and they gang up on him. And it reminded me of a scene that you would see in a zombie movie, where the zombies just gang up on a person and the zombies start ripping the clothes off and start eating him. So we cut to Anne and Polly is being very supportive of Anne. She's going with her for her medical checkups. And yeah, Anne reads a message from Uncle Daddy. He's going crazy. He needs the pills. He's like, you know what, you need to bring me pills. The people are needing it. And Anne tells Polly that it's very tough working for Uncle Daddy. It's like she's trying to handle a toddler, but the toddler has a gun. And Polly's like, you know what, Anne, it is what it is. And she's like, okay, so I'm surprised that you're working with Uncle Daddy. Will you continue working for him? And Anna's like, no, this is only temporary. I'm just going to start saving money so that I can get out of here and give my child a good life. And Polly's like, well, I'm right here with you. Even I'm thinking of saving money, and after the Joe thing, I do understand the need of money and financial security. So I'm going to focus on that as well. And yeah, she's with Anne when it comes to financial security, and I think that her current thought process that plays a role in what she ends up doing later on in the episode with an elderly man, a elderly rich man. So the doctor comes in, and she's very cheery, and she's like, you know what, Anne, it's all good. You need to you need to cut down on your carbs and need to get some exercise. But yeah, your baby is healthy, and Polly and I are very happy about it. But yeah, Polly is like, you know what, a parasite is actually growing inside of you, so it is what it is. Then we cut to Desna and Jan, and they end up meeting one of the parents at the PTA meeting, and she's already having a drink. And this is where Desna tells this woman about the pills that she'll be able to sell her, and the woman is very, very interested. And Desna's like, you know what? Tell your friends. And she's like, yeah, I'll do that. So Anne comes back to Uncle Daddy's clinic, and Uncle Daddy's like, where the heck were you? I needed you. I was calling you. And Anna's like, hey, I'm working with you. I'm working for you, okay? So I ended up finding a person that I knew from my time back in prison. She will be able to launder money for you, and I also brought pills. And yeah, Uncle Daddy is very happy that Anne was able to do this because he had his suspicions. He was like, maybe Anne is still siding with Desna, but no, Anne is really in this. She is in this to destroy Desna, and Uncle Daddy is here for it. Then we cut to this scene where they're having these interviews and they're interviewing this new person. I think her name is Georgina. I could be wrong. And yeah, it turns out that she's a stripper. She's trying to find a new job. She's basically more or less similar to Virginia, and Virginia is here for it. But then again, Georgina can't do a manicure, so that's a bit troubling. Dean walks in, and Dean is like, you know what, Virginia, even though my Instagram social video series is going good, the point is that I'm not getting as many viewers as I was, and I'm also getting a lot of trolling and a lot of bullying. And Virginia is like, you know what, Dean, if this isn't for you, you need to stop doing this. Because again, she has a point, because social media isn't for everyone, especially if you get a lot of bullying and hate comments. Then we are introduced to this new person who's this new delivery person, and of course, Desna and him, there's an instant spark between these two, and these two start flirting. And Desna's like, you know what, I'll give you my number, so let's see where this goes. And Virginia needs Desna to hook up with that man, and but Desna's like, you know what, I'm busy, I'm trying to get this new business off the ground, and I just don't have time for a romantic life. And we do see the parent, the one of the parents they saw at the PTA meeting coming into the salon and buying the pills, and she also brought her friend. And as she's leaving, she tells Desna about a convention happening called the CardleCon, or the Cardle Convention, where there'll be a whole lot of rich people being pampered and all of that stuff. And she's like, Desna, why don't you come? And Desna's like, okay, I guess I'll come there to sell our pills, huh? And yeah, the woman is like, yeah, I'll save you a boot. So this is where Polly is like, Anne, I can't be with you. I can't ride with you over to your yoga class and be there for you, but I'll try and come because I'm busy right now because we're going to go to this con in order to sell pills. And Anne is like, huh, you're pushing pills, huh? And I'm like, Anne, don't do it. Don't do it. You're already, yeah, there's already bad blood between you and Desna. Don't ruin it for Polly as well. But yeah, Anne does it. She really breaks Polly's trust. So we get a scene between Bryce and Uncle Daddy, and Uncle Daddy is like, Bryce, I need you to talk to Jen, your wife. You need to man up. I need to tell her to stop working for Desna, and she needs to support you. And Bryce is like, well, it's easier said than done, Uncle Daddy. I told you already. And Uncle Daddy is like, no, either you're with me or you're not. So talk to your wife. Anne comes in and she ends up telling Uncle Daddy what Polly told her about Desna's plan to push pills during a convention. And Uncle Daddy is like, you know what? Let's mess that operation and up. And I'm like, Anne, why would you do this? Why? So we get to see CaudleCon, and yeah, there are a whole lot of rich people there who are paying a whole lot of money for these weird lifestyle things. And yeah, of course, Desna, Jen, and Ken are very confused about what's happening, but they see their booth and they start selling pills, and they do end up making a lot of money. So Anne is on her way to the Garden Bro Country Club, but she's also, because in this episode we saw that she's very, very interested in having financial security. So she plans to, I guess, get money from a sugar daddy, and she ends up faking this accident. And this old person comes in out, and he's like, are you okay, are you okay? And yeah, Polly is like, well, I can't feel my legs. I think I'm paralyzed. But a tarantula walks past her and she gets up. And the old man is like, yep, I see through you. This wasn't an accident, right? You need money. How much do you want? $500, $1,000. And Anne is like, I have a bigger game in mind. So she ends up putting this fake British accent. And she ends up flirting with the old dude. I think his name is Byron. And she's like, oh, well, I'm from a very rich family. You might have heard of us. And he's like, no, I haven't. But she's like, okay, that's good because we are a snobbish bunch. But anyway, I ended up faking this accident because I wanted a rush. I've been feeling very, very empty from inside, because if you're someone who grew up with a lot of money, you end up trying to find excitement in other things. And yeah, that attracts Byron a lot, and they connect. And Polly's like, you know what, I'll be going to this country club to meet my friends. Will you drive me there? And Byron's like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, but yeah, again, as I say, this was a very, very interesting scene, and I really liked the expression on Polly's face when she knew that she had him wrapped around her finger. So we're at the convention, and Anne and Uncle Daddy arrived there as well. And he's like, you know what, we have to stop this pill selling stuff. And he ends up telling one of the people in the line that the pills that Desna and Jennifer are selling, they aren't right. They're back actually bread mints. And Anne is like, you know what, Uncle Daddy, why don't we allow them to sell as many pills as possible? Then and then we'll steal the cash that they earned. And Uncle Daddy is like, well, I like the way you think. So this is where Desna's like, hey, Jen, did you notice Anne around? And Jen is like, no, I don't think I saw someone with cornrows and cargo shorts. And Desna's like, well, I swear I saw her. But yeah, she's like, must be my mistake. So Polly brings Byron to the convention, and she's like, well, my friends are working at the salon booth. And he's like, wait, you work? And Anne is like, yeah, I work. Because I grew up with a lot of money. I spent a lot of money lavishly for years, but I still felt empty. And then I'm like, you know what? Money doesn't mean anything in life. And that's why I ended up actually working. And yeah, Byron is very smitten with her, and Ken notices it. And he's like, hey, Ken, hey, and he's like, hey, I'm Ken. Hey, Polly, what the heck are you doing? doing? And Polly's like, don't mess this up for me. She takes Ken to the side, and Ken is like, he's like, what, 90? And Polly's like, let me have this, Ken. This is a good thing for me, and I'm going to do this. So she ends up taking Byron away, and she's like, are you free tomorrow? We can go out to lunch. And Byron is like, yeah, let's do that. So Anne and Uncle Daddy are being pampered, and this is where Anne is like, "Hey, Uncle Daddy, look behind you." And he does, and he sees Ken, and he's like, "Traitor! You're supposed to be working for me." And Ken just runs off. So Uncle Daddy's rumor about them selling bread mints, it reaches the person that they met, her ears, and she is like, "Okay, so you aren't selling us the real deal, huh?" And Desna's like, "I don't know what you heard, but we are selling the real deal." And the woman is like, I won't allow this. Get out of the convention right now. And while that's happening, Uncle Daddy ends up stealing the box where Desna was putting all of the money. And yeah, Anne is like, ha. You lose, and Desna's like, well, you might have won this battle, but you won't win the war. And Anna's like, yeah, big words coming from a big mouth. So Uncle Daddy and Anne just walk away with all of the money that Desna made, and I'm like, oh, don't steal from her. But then again, she also steals the pills from Uncle Daddy. So it's basically his pills. So Anne and Uncle Daddy are counting the money. They're very happy with what they stole. And as they're talking, Bryce walks in. Bryce is like, Uncle Daddy, I need more responsibility put on me. I need you to tell me what to do next. And Uncle Daddy is like, well, did you talk to Jen? And Bryce is like, no, I didn't. And Uncle Daddy is like, you know what? I'm with Anne now. She's very smart. I'm going to team up with her. And if you aren't somewhere, and if you don't have it in yourself to talk to Jen, then I don't have any use for you, Bryce. So walk away. So this is where Polly is like, you know what? I can't believe that Anne, yeah, she broke my trust. I can't believe that she ended up telling Uncle Daddy what we were up to. And Desna's like, well, Polly, you need to understand that she's a traitor now. She went to the other side, and we can't continue giving her second chances. And yeah, Desna's like, but we also got to see a silver lining in this moment. And Jenna's like, well, shed the light, Desna. And then I was like, well, it turns out that our little operation was a threat enough for Uncle Daddy to come and stop it himself. So we are on the right track. We just have to continue moving. So Virginia has been feeling very, very bad about how she treated Georgina, and because she wants Georgina to work at the bar and stop her life as being a stripper. But yeah, these two end up meeting each other while Virginia is ordering some food, and yeah, she feels bad about Georgina, and she's like, Georgina, I want you at the salon, but it's not up to me because your manicure and pedicure game, it's just bad. I can't hire you. And Georgina is like, well, okay, if you say so. And Virginia offers her some food, and she's like, no, I don't need no handouts. But yeah, Virginia is very, very worried about, she just feels bad about how she had to treat Georgina. So Anne is waiting for Polly to come to the yoga studio so they can like do this yoga session together. And I'm like, Anne, you broke her trust, and it's very understandable for Polly to not want to talk to you right now. And Polly does come into the yoga studio, and Polly is like, you know what, and I knew that there was stuff between you and Desna, but I would have never thought that you would break my trust. And we're over, Anne. And Anne tries to apologize. She's like, it wasn't about you, Polly. But she's like, no, you involved me. You told what I told you about Desna to Uncle Daddy, and it's over. So she walks off, and I'm like, oh, Anne is left without friends, huh? So, as she's going towards continuing the yoga session on her own, she ends up meeting Dean. And he's like, Dean, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, I'm trying to find my purpose in life. So I was just trying out this exercise routine. Why are you here? You're here for yoga. The class is about to start. And Anna's like, well, I was supposed to do it with Polly, but she can't make it. And I'll have to do this alone. And Dean volunteers to do it with Anne. And she's like, Dean, I don't need your pity. And Dean is like, no, it's not pity. It's just that because I'm trying to find my purpose in life, why not try yoga as well? And Anne is like, what about you and Desna? And he's like, well, we are both adults. We are in an adult sibling relationship, and she can't tell me who I can and cannot be friends with, and I'm your friend, Anne. And I'm like, oh, Dean, Desna isn't going to like this. So Desna gets a call from that delivery person, and he's very interested in hooking up with Desna. And Desna is like, hey, I'm working. I don't have time for a relationship, but I'll call you back, because she notices Virginia being worried in the back. And the guy is like, okay, I'll wait. So this is where we get in a conversation between Desna and Virginia tells Desna about how she feels sorry for Georgina, and but she can't hire her because Georgina's manicure and pedicure game isn't good. And Desna's like, well, that's rich coming from you because you remember when I hired you, you couldn't do anything. I had to teach you. And Virginia's like, yeah, you're right. And Desna and Virginia's like, why did you do that? And Desna's like, because you reminded me of myself. If I didn't give you a chance back then, you would be back being a stripper, and I couldn't have that. So maybe pay it forward for Georgina. And Virginia's like, yeah, I'll do that. So she ends up talking to Georgina, and she's like, Georgina, yeah, you need to learn a lot when it comes to doing manicures and treating nails, but I'll teach you, and you got the job. And Georgina's like, thank you, thank you. She's very appreciative of Virginia giving her the job, and I like the scene too because Virginia has grown a lot as a character. So we cut to Bryce, and Bryce is like, Uncle Daddy, I need to talk to you. And Uncle Daddy is like, well, if you haven't talked to Jen, I don't want anything to do with you. But Bryce is like, hey, I can still be valuable to your operations. And he reveals that he ended up bringing these fentanyl patches, which can give you a high for like what 10 hours, and it's also cheaper than the pills that they're selling. And yeah, Bryce is back in the game, and but Uncle Daddy is like, but hold up, not so fast. You still need to talk to Jen about leaving the operation and stop working for Desna. And Bryce is like, you know what? I'll look into it. But yeah, Bryce is back to working with Uncle Daddy, which good for him. So yeah, Desna and the delivery person end up hooking up. I don't think we ever got his name, but yeah, Desna's like, I liked hooking up in the back of a delivery truck, and I think that a lot of people have hooked up with you in this, huh? And he's like, no, you're my first one. And I'm like, okay, he's a romantic, huh? And he's like, you need to know something about me, that if I like something, I never quit, I go after it. And Desna's like, okay. And I'm like, should I trust this person? Should I? I'm not really sure. I'm kind of side eyeing him. And this is where Desna notices that he also makes delivery to a company called something Passion, Love Passion, or something. It's basically for adults, and yeah, he's like, yep, I do that. And Desna's like, well, you help me because I have a plan to crack, and I'm looking forward to seeing how she's going to use this package person or not in her operations, and if she can actually trust him or not. But yeah, let's see what happens. So this is the episode basically ends with the conversation between Bryce and Jen, and Bryce is like, "Hey, I'm putting my foot down. I'm telling you to stop working with Desna because I'm going to continue working with Uncle Daddy." And Jen is like, "Wait. Why are you ordering me around?" And Bryce is like, "Well, this is how it is. You need to stop working with Desna." And Jen is like, "Let me tell you this, Bryce, you can't treat me like this, and I'm not appreciating your macho tone that you're having with me. And if you ever bring this macho tone outside of the bedroom, well, I'm going to rip your or cut your bees off, and I'm going to put them in my purse. Do you understand that? Because I'm going to continue working for Desna. She's been with us through thick and thin. She's always had her back, and I just can't leave her alone with this business." And Bryce is like, okay. And the episode ends with Bryce basically not being able to counter Jen's argument. And I'm like, are these two going to have relationship troubles again? Because didn't we just have relationship troubles between these two? But yeah, let's see what happens. And this is where the episode ends. Next week is we are going to get episode number 3 and 4, again 2 episodes a week, and I think that this entire season is going to be 10 episodes long. If I do end up doing a written review of this for the Geek Theory, the link to the review put down in the comment section below as soon as it's published. Let me know what you thought of episode number 2, and until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later. Bye.